Okay, so we're getting the recording done. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over some basics with this here. I've got, hold on, I need to present my screen. So I'm going to present my screen to you. So you should be seeing my entire screen. And let me know if you cannot see it. Right, and I think I have to put this in here. Okay. This is the question that we're going to do today. Now, I've deliberately chosen one that is quite challenging. So as we do it, it'll help build up your confidence. Hold on, just get organized. I buried things on my table. Here it is. Yes. Oops. Just knocked over my water. I'll get that later. Okay. Put glasses on already. Right. So we're doing non-right angle trigonometry. And you're going to actually get something like this. Calculate the area of a non-right angle triangle using trigonometry. Well, first of all, I'm going to copy that and I'm going to paste it down here. And we're going to draw on it. And as we draw on it, we're going to come back because at the moment, I can't see any triangles. So it's got two centers, circles X and Y. So there's the center of one circle, and here's the center of another circle. You've got the radii, 8 and 12, and they intersect at points A and B. So I'm going to call this point A, and I'm going to call this point B. Now, I still haven't got any triangles there, have I? So I'm going to now make some triangles. So I'm going to get my ruler, and I'm going to make one like that. And I think I have to grab it again and make another line like that. Yep. And then I can grab this line. Oh, hold on, what am I doing? Let's go back there. So I've got A and B there. I still haven't got a triangle yet, so I have to somehow make a triangle of that. Can you see where a triangle will come from? If I now draw a line down here, I have a triangle. So I have a triangle XAB. So I'm going to now draw that triangle separately and just a little sketch. So what does it look like? Oh, that'll do. But I need to turn it around. So I wonder if I can, no, Control Z. That won't do it. So I'm going to have to draw it separately with 3 lines, I think. Just so it's in the same shape there. No, I won't do that. I've got to go and grab a line every time. So then I call this triangle XAB. Here is X, here is A, here is B. And I've got some information. I've got that that is 8, and I've got that that is 8. Okay, I'm told that XY is 17. Oh. Oh, yes, so XY is 17. That's this distance along here is 17. What happened there? Oh, it disappeared. So we know that from this point here, the whole distance is 17. And so if I call this distance D, I know that the height of the triangle, or this distance, which I will call E, so we got E plus D equals 17. So I've chosen a pretty hard one to start off with, but at least we've got a triangle, and at least we've got 2 sides. So let's draw the other triangle in that. Can we see another triangle in that? Hopefully you can. I'll do a different color. Maybe I'll do this one in green. And we'll put the lines in. and we've got AY. That's not a line. Control Z. Let's insert a line. AY, and then we'll insert the next line, BY. So then we've got this triangle, ABY. So I'm going to draw it again down here. Now this is a skill. It doesn't matter whether you know trigonometry or not. This is a problem-solving skill that you need to be able to do. You need to be able to try and work your way into a question and just put down everything you know. So even if you don't know the trig at this stage, we can do that. Now let's label the sides of our triangle. So let's go back to draw, and we'll get a black pen. This side here is 12. That's the side from Y to A. And there's B. And this side here is 12. Okay, so we've got the two triangles in, and we're given that XY is 17. So I've got this bit here is D, and I've got over here that it's E. So if we take E plus D equals 17, now I can get what E is. I'm going to show you how to do this. Some of you are weak on algebra. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this D and I'm going to put it to the other side. And when I change it to the other side, the plus becomes a minus. So E plus nothing, so there's nothing there now. And we see that it is now E is 17 minus D. So that's pretty important that we know how to do these sorts of things. So I'm going to highlight that underneath. E is 17 minus D. Welcome to Joanne, who's arrived. Good. So that's what E is, 17 minus D. I'm recording this, Joanne, so you can have a look at it later. We can also change it to what D is. So I'm going to do it again. So what we're doing is we're actually rearranging some things. So this time I'm going to take the E and I'm going to put it to the other side. So I take this E and I put it to the other side. That there can disappear, and it now becomes minus, because when I change something from the left-hand side to the right-hand side, positive becomes minus. So now we've got a value for D and a value for E. At this stage, I'm going to leave this, and I'm not actually going to go into the area of the triangle, because this is a little bit too complicated at this stage. But what I've got there is I've shown you that with various triangles, with a diagram like this one here, that's what your assessment is going to be like. You're going to be given something like that, and then you're going to have to start it. You're going to have to show some trigonometry skills. Remember, we are doing non-right angle trigonometry. So the first thing then, when you're doing these things, is to make triangles. Oops, that's a pretty bad triangle. I'm just going to roughly sketch it in here. Pretty hard to draw with this. And the other triangle over there when it hits the Y. Those are really bad triangles. But you can see the idea that you make triangles, and then you've got your two triangles, and eventually you can work out the area of the triangle. Now this one here does require some arc things, which we haven't done yet. So I'm going to just stop it there. All that we're doing is having a look at how to start an assessment, and we start with triangles. Now, once we have our triangles, I'm going to review what we have done in the past. In fact, I'm just going to get a question. I'll just make one up. Okay, so I'm going to draw a insert a triangle. Where is it? Oh, no, there it is. Insert a triangle. So I'm going to draw a triangle here. Right, here's a triangle. I'm going to assume it is not an isosceles triangle. I'm going to make this 8 meters. I'm going to make that 8.5 meters. And I'm going to make that D. And I'm going to tell you that that is 95 degrees there. Okay, so we need to now know how to solve this by using non-right angle trigonometry. And we need the formulas for non-right angle trigonometry. So if we go to our maths classroom to find the formulas, now this is a test, have I put them up there? So we're going to go into MAT2 and I'm going to click onto this one down here, which is our Sine sheet for Google Classroom. Right, so you should see this sign. This will take you to our Google sites. Then you go to the trigonometry and under notes. You should see some things there for notes, and I haven't given you any yet. What have I done? What have I done with trigonometry? Done videos, trigonometry exercises. So I've got a playlist to help you, and I've got trigonometry exercises. I've got nothing under notes, so let's go to the trigonometry exercises. We've got sine rule, I think, under help there. There we have. Under help, you've got your sine rule, your cosine rule, your triangle area rule. So those are some of the rules there. So I'm going to try and use the sine rule. Now, I know it's incorrect, but I'll show you this is the procedure you should do, and then I'll show you why you can see the cosine rule is correct. So I'm going to start with the sine rule. A over sine A equals B over sine B. We only use two of those. So if I write the sine rule out, A over sine A equals B over sine B. Now what we need is when we're doing this side here must match the top there. So I'm going to relabel my triangle as this is capital A, that's little a. This is capital B, that's little b. This is capital C, and that is little c. So here we have A over sine A. So I need A over sine A. I've got that one. That would be the 95. B would be 8.5. Do I have the sine of B? I don't. When we're using these formulas, we can only find one thing. So this formula is not going to be helpful in this case. So I can't use A over sine A, B over sine B, because I haven't got the sine of B. If you're not sure, replay this and do it later. So I still leave that as A, B, and C. And let's go and see if we can use the cosine formula. The cosine formula is A squared equals that, B squared plus C squared. So I'm going to write it out on my OneNote, on my pad there. So I get A squared equals B squared plus C squared minus 2BC cos A. I'll just extend this a little bit. Right, now, what I'm finding needs to go on the left-hand side. So I need this bit to be on the left-hand side. Do I have B? Yes, I have B as 8.5. Do I have C? I have C as 8. Do I have cosine of A? I have that. So now I can put it in to my formula, which is 8.5 squared plus C squared is 8 squared minus 2 times 8, which is B is 8.5. C is 8 times the cosine of 95. Right, so I'm going to put that on my calculator. So I'm just going to grab a calculator here. Hopefully I've got a scientific calculator. I have some. Right, so we've got B squared equals A squared, which was, sorry, I've lost it now. What are we doing? We're doing, I'll just write it down on a piece of paper so I can go back to it. 8.5 squared plus 8 squared. Right, so now we're going to type it in on our calculator and hopefully we'll be right. Where is it? So we've got 8 squared. Sorry, 8.5 squared, wasn't it? 0.5 squared, excuse the noise in the background, tab, plus 8 squared minus 2 times 8.5 times 8 times cosine of 95. And we see it's 148.103. That is what a squared equals. So 148.103. Remember that. So a squared here is, whoops, I've gone back. 148.103. A squared equals 148.103. So we want to find out what A is. So I'm going to have to square root that answer. So I go back to this one here, and I go the square root of 148.103, which is 12.169 or 12.17. Right, so that's what A is, 12.17. So we've now solved 12.17. We've now solved that triangle and found what A is. Now at this stage, I would like you in the, when I go back to Google Classrooms, where it is, go back to Google Classroom, which is there. No, this is where we are. I'd like you in the chat session to put down whether that was helpful, confusing, whether you already knew it, or that was good. Was it helpful, confusing? Make a comment. Everyone make a comment, please. Could you follow it? Was it helpful? Was it a waste of time? Are you still stuck? I need to know. I'm going to wait for those comments to come in.
Scroll down, mister.
Pardon?
Scroll down.
Scroll down. Ah, thank you. Okay. Right. Well, it was helpful. It was good. It was very helpful, helpful, good. Okay, so I'm not boring you totally then. Okay? That's how you go ahead and you do those. That's the cosine one. Should I go on and do another example with the sine rule, or would someone like me to go over the sine rule? Or do you just want to go ahead and practice what I've given you? While you're thinking about there, we've got a yep. Okay, so we'll go ahead and we'll do the sine rule. Yep. So then you can go back and you can check these. Okay, so I'll do the sine rule, and then we'll have a look at the other ones. So I'm going to make up a triangle again. So I'll just go to insert. So we'll do a triangle with the sine rule here. And there it is. What's happening? No. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put, this is 5 centimeters. This is 9 centimeters. This here is 99 degrees. And I want to know what this angle here is, which I'm going to call angle A. So we're going to use the sine rule to do this. And I'm going to show you how it works. Now, just imagine you're at home, you've forgotten, oh, I'm stuck, I don't know what to do. So what you would do then is you would go to your maths page, which I had here, I think. And you go to your trigonometry exercises, which I know I've already opened. And we want to use the sine formula. So let's go to help. And there's the sine formula. A over sine A equals B over sine B. Sine A over A equals sine B over B. What you want to find is always on the top. So one of these formulas is just flipped over. It's just the inverse of the other. So do I want the A over sine A, or do I want the sine A over A? That's what I want to know. Is it A over sine A, or is it sine A? Which one is it? Do I want this first one, sine A over A equals sine B over B, or do I want it the other way up? Someone voice an opinion. Do I want it that way, or do I want it A over sine A? Anyone like to stab a guess? No. What I'm finding is this thing here, A. I need that at the top. Is the A at the top here? No, so I'm not going to use that one. The A is at the top here, so this is the one I want to use. I hope that's clear. What you need, what you want to find is at the top. So sine A, I just leave it in the formula, sine A over A. What is opposite A? That one there. That's what A equals. Remember, the little letters are opposite. Over 5 equals sine of B. So I'm going to label this B, and this would be little b, equals sine of 99 over 9. Now, what you do is you work this out on your calculator, what the right-hand side is, and then you're going to multiply that right-hand side by this one here. Because at the moment, actually, I'll copy the whole lot here. At the moment, this side here is on the left. We've got sine of A there. I want to get rid of that because I only want to find out what A is. So I'm going to take this 5, and because it's divided by on the left, I'm going to take it and I'm going to times it by that answer on the right. So I'm going to times it by that answer, which would be sine of 99 over 9. So that's what sine of A equals. So I'm going to go to now my calculator. Do it. I hope I'm not going too slow for you people. It just takes a little bit of time. Where's my calculator gone? Hold on. Let's go back here. And I find my calculator. Here it is. And we've got sine of 99. Dividing it by 9. We're timesing it by 5. And I get 0.5487. Now that's not the angle, 0.5487. That's what the sine of the angle is. So to find the actual angle, I have to do inverse sine. Right? The inverse sine doesn't actually look like that. It looks like sine negative 1. On your calculator, you go sine negative 1 of 0.5487 equals, and that will give us our angle. So on my calculator here, I just go inverse sine. Now, for this one here, I think I have to press on the function. Here's my inverse sine. And can I just click that up? I can't. I have to type it in. 0.5487. And there's my angle, 33.3 degrees. And then I check to see if it makes sense. Does it equal 33.3 degrees to 1 decimal place? So I check, is it the biggest angle? Where is it on my thing there? We've got the biggest angle 99 with the biggest side 9, a smaller angle 5, so 33.3 degrees looks about right. So I'm assume it's correct. Okay. So going back to our Google Classroom, and hopefully I'll get faster at doing this. Google Classroom, here we are about here. In the chat here, I thank you, Dylan, that was the one we want. Right. Did you understand that? Did you follow along okay? Just type in the chats there. Yes, no, maybe. Good. Cool. People are understanding. What I'm going to do then, I'm going to do the other cosine rule and the other sine rule. So then you'll have everything that you need for the moment. So what I'll do is I'm going to copy this triangle, paste it over here. It didn't work out too well. I'm going to start again. Let's see if I can just sketch something. It's not a very good triangle. No. I have to use a straight line. It's really hard for me to draw straight lines here. Probably all laughing. It's not a line either. Grab it. There we go. So this time here, I'm going to put the sides in, and we'll make this a 10. We'll make that 12. We'll make that, say, 5. And I want to find this angle here, which I'm going to call angle P. Now, note here I've got 3 sides. I can call this little p, and let's use a different color. I can call this little p, so I can call this little a and little b, or any letters I like, right? So you can choose them. But notice I haven't got any angles in terms of numbers. I'm finding an angle. So let's go back to our transum here and here. Right. For the sine rule, I need to have 2 angles. So I'm not going to use the sine rule. For the cosine rule, I need to have 1 angle, so I can't use this form. But when I'm finding an angle, I only need 3 sides. So I'm going to use this one. So this is our cosine rule here. And it's written a little bit differently here. But normally the cosine rule is written like this. Cosine of A equals b squared plus c squared minus a squared over 2bc. That's how it'll be written in your formula sheet. So because I want this as A, I have to change this and relabel it as A. So this side here is not little p, it is actually little a. There's a little a. So make sure A goes opposite there. It doesn't matter which is B and which is C. They can go either way around. And then we just work it out. So the cosine of A equals B squared, which is 10 squared plus 12 squared minus 5 squared over 2 times B. Now I'm putting these bottom ones in brackets times C, which is 12. Then I go to my calculator. Now, when you do this on your calculator, it's really important that you remember to put brackets around the top and brackets around the bottom. You need those pair of brackets in there, because if you don't put those brackets there, you're not going to get it wrong. Correct. You'll get it wrong. So we've got 10, 12, 5. I'm going to go back to our calculator, if I can find it, which is here. And we're going to go. I need brackets around the top. So it is 10 squared plus 5 squared, 12 squared. 10 squared plus 12 squared minus 5 squared divided by, whoops, go back, squared. Now, when I divide it, I have to divide the whole lot. So this one actually automatically puts brackets in, but if you're doing it on your calculator at home, it won't. 2 times 10 times 12. That gives me 0.9125. So let's go back here. And everything here in the brackets gives me 0.9125. 0.9125. Again, that's what the cosine of A is. So if we want to find what A is, we have to go inverse cosine. A equals the inverse cosine of 0.9125. So we do that over here and go to our next one here and go to the inverse cosine, put in 0.9. There's our answer, 24.14. That's the angle. Does it make sense? Let's check it. Is that the smallest angle in the triangle? Because 24.14, just to one decimal place, that's pretty small. It must be the smallest angle in the triangle because it's opposite the smaller side. So what we've done then today, we have covered the cosine, finding an angle. We've covered the cosine, finding a side. And we've done the sine, finding an angle. So now I'm going to go on to the sine rule, finding a side. Now at this stage, I want a little bit more feedback in the comments. Have I gone too fast and lost you, or is it okay? I want to know if you're getting lost, struggling, or if it's okay. Good, Joanne. Okay for 1. 2, it's all good for Hans. So the other 7 people lost. I know. Niklesh, okay, good. Dylan, okay. Ayush, okay. Anushka, okay. Good. Okay, so I'll do one more, and then I'll show you what you need to do, and that will be it for today. So just do one more, and if you get stuck, you can have a look at the video, and you can go back again. So again, I better do a proper triangle and not try and draw it freehand. Just use one of these. I'm going to assume it's not a right angle triangle, isosceles triangle. Well, it's definitely not right angle. So I'm going to say find this angle here, which I'm going to call angle P. I'm going to give you this as 12.3, and I'm going to say this is 15.7, and this here is 110 degrees. Now the formula this time we want is A over sine A. No, it isn't. Isn't that what I did last time? I already did one of these, didn't I? I beg your pardon. I'm going to change this. I want to, we did an angle last time. I want you to find a side. So I'm going to call this angle, I'm going to say this angle is 80, 70, about 40 degrees. And I want you to find side P here. So A over sine A equals B over sine B. The third part, C over sine C, we don't need because we can only do one pair of things at once. So we ignore that part of the formula. It is true, but we don't need it. What I need has to be on the top. Is my letter going on the top? Do I have 2 angles and 1 side? Yes, I have 2 angles and I have 1 side. So I know that this formula is going to fit quite well because I've got everything that I need there. So let's go ahead and do it. And we've got A over, now this here is A. So this must be sine of A. Make sure you get it round the right way. Sine of A equals B, which is 15.7 over sine of B. Now make sure you always take the sine of the angle. Some students don't realize and they start taking the sine of a side. Don't ever take the sine of a side, it's only the sine of an angle. So we work out our right side on our calculator. I'll just show you a trick just to get you, help you with the algebra, because I've noticed that some people are really, really weak on the algebra. Maybe it's none of you, but others in the class are watching this are going to be really weak on the algebra. So I want to show you that you change side, change sign. To find out what A is, we take the sine of A and we're going to put it on the other side. It was divided by there, so therefore we have to do the opposite and times it on that side. That's why A over A becomes times on that side. We can actually put A as a number, can't we? I should have put the A there. What is the A value? 40. So we put the A value here as sine of 40. And all that we need to do is label, put it on our calculator, and this will actually give us our value. We won't need to find the inverse sign. We just have to put it straight on our calculator, and we're done. So I'm going to do that now over here. Here's my calculator. There it is. So we've got 15.7 divided by sine of 110 times sine of 40. And it gives us an answer of 10.73. So we've got A is 10.73, and we can write our answer in there as soon as I find where my pen is, 10.73. And just check, does that make sense? That's 15, that's the biggest one, 10 must be smaller. Yeah, that's about right. So I've got 10.73. Okay, I want you to just give us the okay, thumbs up, say it's good, don't understand, whatever. You understand all 3, 4 things. All good? Cool. Right, so what you need to do then, you need to go to your maths page, this one here. You need to go to the trigonometry exercises, and you need to do the sine rule, cosine rule, sine formula. That's what we'll be working on today and tomorrow. And I'll do a few more examples tomorrow or answer your questions, but these are all straightforward. So when you do the questions, you type your answer in there. And if you get it wrong, like this one here will be wrong, you can mark it down the bottom, you check it, and it tells you that it's wrong. Well, I'm going to check, and it says, yep, I got that wrong, because I could just guess. So it will tell you whether you get it correct. So it's instantaneous thing. If you get certain amount correct, you get a trophy, I think. Do the cosine rule, do the sine formula. That's for angles and for sides. And if you can do all those, you're up to date. If you go into the exam style questions, they're really the same thing. You should be able to do it. If you come across some of these questions that are too hard, like question 3, don't just stop. Go and do those that you can do. Again, you're looking for triangles. We might try some of these tomorrow and see how we do. Okay, this will be loaded up onto Google Classroom. So I want you to let me know if that's good enough. You can go ahead and do the work, and we will see you tomorrow. Thank you, Joan. If anyone has any questions, just stay behind. Otherwise, you can log off and try those questions. Cool. Thanks for coming. See you next time.